Hello everyone, welcome to today's training on creating a digital portfolio for the staff and students within the Wake County Public School System. Today we're going to be learning about creating our digital portfolio that all students and staff members within Wake County are now required to have. And we're going to do so with a fairly simple step-by-step process using Google Sites, since we all have access to the Google Apps for education through the Wake County Public School System. Each year, teachers are evaluated on 5 different standards through the NC Educator Evaluation System. These standards, especially within this training that we're looking at using, are teachers facilitating learning for all of their students, especially through technology and using technology as a method to assess what each student has learned, and teachers reflecting on their practice by analyzing student learning. With teachers creating these digital portfolios, it serves as one handy location for all of our artifacts to present for our year-end evaluation that we are in fact meeting these standards each year. And for students, it allows them to start a portfolio of things that they have created across their years of learning with regards to, especially right now, middle school, which is the level that this is aimed at today. The creation of digital portfolios for students is another way for staff to evaluate the way that their students are learning, because the students can choose what projects to upload into their website, and teachers can see how students create things to share with the rest of the world. Through the ISTE, we're going to be also meeting a few standards. For students, we're going to be looking at Standard 1, students using technology to take an active role in their learning and showing what they have learned across the school year. For educators, we're going to be collaborating with our students using these digital resources, helping them learn how to use technology to advocate for themselves and for their own learning. And they're going to also be able to take ownership of their learning. So before we get started creating, let's talk about what pages the students and staff need to create. For students, what we need to create is essentially 6 different pages, a home or an about me page. Those could be 2 separate pages, but generally it's easier if we combine them into one page. A page for their English Language Arts work, or ELA, a page for their social studies work, a page for their math work, and a page for their science work. So we refer to these subjects as their 4 core subjects. And then to make it streamlined and easy, we recommend a page for all the electives that they would take throughout their middle school career. So this could be computers, this could be PE and health, this could be art, chorus, dance, band, any other electives that may or may not be offered at their school. Students may also choose to include a page that involves their extracurricular activities as well, such as sports or church activities or any other type of thing they're involved in outside of school. They have that option to create that. Most students choose to just include a little write-up about it in their About Me section instead of dedicating an entire page to it, since ideally the focus of their digital portfolio is the work that is done during school hours. For the staff, they need to create a home page and an About Me page. Again, that could be the same page, or it could be 2 different pages. They need a page for their Standard 1 and Standard 4 reflection, depending on their cycle in the observation year. Most years, these are the standards that require artifact submission. A page for the learning outcomes that are presented daily in their classroom. For a lot of us, this is simply a spreadsheet that has one line per date per class, and we list the learning outcome and how an activity created and how it relates to that learning outcome. Observation reflections for however many times in your cycle per year you're evaluated, and after you reflect on that evaluation, and your goals for your personal development plan. To begin, you need to log into the Wake ID portal, which is our landing space for students and staff and all of the things that Wake County would like for us to be able to use. This is an example of the staff Wake ID portal. The student portals don't have quite as many things involved. And you need to just simply click on the Google Drive link you can see there in the red circle. In order to get to Google Sites, you'll want to click on this 9-square grid that is up near the top right of your Google Drive. And then on that menu, you're going to want to find the blue rectangle that says Sites. Again, you can see it there listed in the red circle with the arrow. Make sure you don't immediately go to the red Create button. That looks exciting, but you're going to want to come down to the menu here where it says New Google Sites so that you can have access to the very easy to use templates that Google has to offer. And then once you get to your Sites landing page, you'll see mine has quite a few student portfolios that they have shared with me so I can look at their work and grade it, as well as my own digital portfolio up there in the top left-hand corner. But in order to create this, you just need to simply click on the plus. That's a theme with Google. Anytime you see a plus sign, that's going to help you add new material to whatever it is you're creating. Okay, so now that you know kind of the step-by-step process, let's do it in live time so you can see how that looks on an actual computer. So I have here logged into my Wake ID portal, and I am going to click on my Google Drive, like I mentioned earlier. Then we're going to come up here to this 9-square grid. That's all of your Google apps. You see if you just hover without clicking, it tells you what it is. Click on it and navigate down to Sites. And like I said before, don't immediately hit the fun-looking red Create button because that's going to get you into the classic Sites, which is a little bit cumbersome to use. So we like to use the new Google Sites because it seems to be more user-friendly. Click on that. Now, the first time you click on the Google Sites, if you've never been in there before, you may see a kind of a step-by-step tutorial that sort of guides you through how to use Google Sites. You can click out of that and then immediately find your plus, which says Create New Site if you hover over it. And what I tell everyone is there's always a back button, so don't panic when you're creating. My digital portfolio is right here, as well as some other student-created ones that you can see through here. I even created an example one for my students so they could see me do this in live time. So we're going to go ahead and create a new site for training purposes today. And you can see that it pre-populates with something that is extremely easy to use here. So I can change my title if that's the color scheme that you like. You can even change your image that you see here in the background. You can change how the header looks. Now let's talk a little bit about this sidebar tool menu over here. You can create a variety of different layouts. If you want a picture and then some text, you can do that, or 2 different pictures with text beneath. If you want to change your theme, you come over here and you see you have a whole bunch of different themes you can choose from. Let's go with impression down here. And I'm going to title this page with my name, since it is my digital portfolio. And you see you have a little trash can up here where you can delete. you can insert a link. You can change how your text looks on the screen with the alignment. And you have a small menu here to change the way that your title looks. So I said one of the pages that you need to create is your home or about me page. So this is a good one to go ahead and start working on because it's usually the easiest because you're just telling the world about yourself. So over here you can insert anything you want. You can insert an image that is available on your computer. You can find one on the web. You can embed any sort of code or link. So I generally like to try to add this one, which is an image with some text over here. Click on it and it just automatically happens. You put your image right there and you put your text right here. And you can tell the world about yourself, whatever you would like for them to know. I tell my students, make sure to keep it appropriate and make sure to keep it fairly general. What school they go to, what grade they're in, what classes they're taking, things of that nature. In order to add more pages, because we talked about needing a variety of different pages, you simply navigate over here to the Pages portion. And again, here's our theme with Google. We've got a plus. And a trick I like to tell my students and any staff that I'm giving training to is if you hover over things, it generally gives you a little idea about what it's going to do once you click it. So we're going to add a new page, and I'm going to start my page with English Language Arts, which is ELA. Done. And so you can see like a real website. It's going to be listed up there in the top where you would normally find a navigation bar in a website. So let's go ahead and add our core pages. Let's do math. And let's do social studies. For those of us that are a little older, social studies used to be called history. And then we're going to do a page for science. And wait for it to work a little bit. Then we have our electives page for things like band, choir, visual arts, computer science, keyboarding, a whole host of different things depending on what your school has to offer. So if we want to work on our elective page, for example, simply go back to the Insert menu, and then you can see there's a whole bunch of different things here that you can insert if you want to do images, dividers, video links, calendars, any sort of thing that you feel like there. And one thing that I like to show my students is that anything that they have uploaded into their student Google Drive is available to be put on their website, which is why I advocate for using Google Sites, because all of their work is done through Google within the Wake County Public School System, so they have access to be able to put it all on their website. So if we want to insert something from our drive, we simply click from Drive. And the trick I tell them all the time, they submit work in Google Classroom. That is a folder right there. Let's open it. And there's so many things that I have, because this of course is linked to my teacher Google Classroom. And we'll go into this class and let's insert a video that we made the other day of ourselves playing. And so that's a good way to have them submit a video. Let's say that they're in band and they recorded themselves playing and they want to show how they sounded at the beginning of the school year and then maybe at the end of the first 9 weeks, which is the project we're working on right now in my class. So if you would like to edit a different page, simply just go up here to the top and click on any one that you want to edit. and you can sort of look through the menu here and find, again, the thing I find the most helpful is to just go ahead and insert from Drive. So another question I get a lot is, how do I title and save it so it doesn't say untitled site? If you see, if I bring my mouse over here to the top left where it says untitled site, I can just click in there and I can call it whatever I want to. For my students, this is required to be their first and last name, just to make it easy for me to look at their work and grade. Then if you would like to get back to the site's home screen, you can click right here and you see I hover over it, it says Sites Home. So now I'm going to walk you through what my staff digital portfolio, which of course is a work in progress, is looking like. So this 3 dots menu is something that I want to tell everyone about. You have the option here to rename it, trash it, or open it up in a new tab. So the 3 dots menu a lot of times will give you some editing help if you need it. Click on that. And I've already done some editing, so you can see I changed my background up here because I do teach instrumental music, so I thought a nice music heading would look nice up there, and my name. Have my degree, qualifications, and all of my licensure, and a picture of myself so people know who I'm talking about. I decided to do home and about me as 2 different pages, and I did my about me in 3 different segments: my teaching career, my life outside of school, and my personal interests. Here is my standard 1 reflection page that is linked to my standard 1 document that I have edited as a part of my beginning of the year evaluation. This one I haven't linked to my standard 4 reflection yet because I haven't been observed yet. And this is a link to my weekly learning outcomes. So you can see we have a pre-filled template that we need to work on. I teach 3 grade levels and I teach 6 classes per day. So I have chosen to do 1 of those classes. So I chose my 6th grade beginning band, and there is a date for every day that I teach, what the learning outcome is, whether they're knowing, understanding, or doing, and what the activity is and how that relates. Up here you can see in my More tab I have my observation reflection and my PDP goals, and then again the same type of editing menu up here. You have all the options to be able to personalize this any way that you want, and of course I titled mine Jessica McCaskill Digital Portfolio, so that way you can kind of see what one looks like when it's been worked on a little bit and what the basic requirements are for the Wake County Public School System and how to get started doing it. All right, let's go through some helpful tips for publishing and sharing your website once you're ready. What I tell my staff and students is that don't click publish until you're ready for everyone to see your product. Everything will be saved in your Google Drive. You can see how it says here, all changes saved in Drive, so you can access and edit it anytime you would like. Also, earlier I mentioned that there's always a back button, so there's your undo button if you make a mistake. And if you like what you did, you can make sure to redo it. If you click here on this preview, that allows you to see what your website will actually look like when people visit it. And you can see a mobile view or a side mobile view or like a tablet view and a regular computer view. So this is what my website will look like once it's published. Click X to get out of that so you can go back into editing mode. Here we can copy our site link if you want to share it with people, or you can share it with others directly if you know their email address. So when you're accessing your sharing settings, make sure that only the people you want to see it and edit it can do so. So here I have my digital portfolio link shared with my administrative team at my school. And specific people can edit my website. So these administrators that I've shared it with do have editing access. And the only people who can view my website are anyone who has a Wake County Public School System account. So here you can change that to whatever you want your settings to be. If you want it to be public on the web, anyone who can have the link or search it and access it. So be careful about your sharing settings when you're trying to share this with other people, and make sure that the people who you want to see it will be able to see it. Here's my 3 dots menu again. So you can, if you're really interested, you can go through and find out information about your site, like how many people have viewed it once it's published and things like that. So if I click publish here, that takes my site live on the internet. It is available to see through those people, again, that you have your sharing settings updated. And that's when you're ready for everyone to see what you've got going on. Don't worry, you'll still be able to edit your site after you publish it. Like I said, all changes are saved in your Google Drive right here. So you can, anytime you have an internet connection, you can access your Google Drive with your login and password and be able to edit anything that you've done in your website. Our training outcomes for today were to learn how to make a teacher and student digital portfolio using Google Sites, which of course is housed in the Google Apps for Education. Today's training was specifically geared towards middle school students and teachers within the Wake County Public School System as a step-by-step guide to showing students how to create their digital portfolios, as well as to show staff who may be unfamiliar with how to use Google Sites, how to begin and edit their digital portfolios. Another resource for teachers that I would like to make everyone aware of is the teachercenter.withgoogle.com. It has a variety of training videos on how to use the various Google apps. So teachers, if you are unfamiliar with or would just like more practice using the Google Apps for Education, the Teacher Center that Google offers is extremely helpful. Thank you for listening to my training video today, and I hope this helps you guys create your digital portfolios.